originally. When I was a child, not a few yards from here, my dad would bring me to the field house to watch the Bronx basketball when it was Pan American. That was in the early 70s. I watched my first concert here again as a child. My dad would bring me to the field house that still stands here. My older brother graduated from Pan American with a degree in physics and math. He went on to work for NASA. He helped write software that determined how much fuel the shuttles needed to take on particular missions. I'm a lot lesser person than he is, but we were both first-generation students, probably like a lot of you. Perhaps because he had the courage to go on, I had the courage to go on as well. I actually thought that I could go to Harvard, and I did, and I was shocked. But probably like a lot of you, I thought, I'm not qualified to be applying to Harvard, and I had a lot of obstacles to face, probably like you do, right? Most importantly, my mother said, why would you go to Harvard? You've got a great university right there in Edinburgh, Texas, Pan American, and it is, right? My brother worked for NASA. This is a great institution. This is a great university. But you're going to be faced with challenges and obstacles and opportunities throughout your life. And you sometimes are going to have to take a risk. Sometimes you're going to have to travel far away. Sometimes you're going to have to leave your family. Sometimes you're going to have to leave your friends, your boyfriends and girlfriends, and actually go do something different. You've got to take advantage of the opportunities that you're going to be confronted with. I later had the opportunity, shockingly, to go to Harvard Law School, and I went. And I had an opportunity to work with a future president on the Harvard Law Review, Barack Obama. My third year roommate was a current sitting Supreme Court Justice of the United States, Neil Gorsuch. He was my roommate. But I don't, I'm not dropping these names other than to tell you that life isn't about the people you meet and what they can do for you. It's about the experiences that you create for yourself, right? And what you take from those experiences. And almost in a certain way, and maybe more importantly, is how that community will engage with you, right? You're going to meet all kinds of people in your life, right? In this journey that we call life. Your friends, your families, your mentors. And in each step of that journey, you've got to try to understand, what is it that I can learn from these experiences? What is it that I can learn from these people? I haven't kept in touch with Barack Obama. I haven't kept in touch with Neil Gorsuch. Do you know the people that I've kept in touch with, the people who are most important in my life? And I'm getting emotional just talking about it. I don't know if any of you know that when you land at McAllen Airport, I flew in on Thursday night, right next door to McAllen Airport is La Piedad Cemetery. La Piedad Cemetery, it was where the Mexicans were buried. I mean, it goes back, way back. When we stepped off of that airplane, the first place that my wife and I went to was La Piedad. Why? My dad is buried there. My tios are buried there. My tias are buried there. Mi abuela. My great-grandmother. My grandfather. This great event for you today, I'm told, is about culture, community, identity. Who were those people that helped you get where you are today? Whose shoulders did you stand on to get where you are today, and whose will you continue to stand on? So we visited with those family members who had gone before, and I thank them. Because, you know, all of these are not my successes, right? We live in community. We are not self-made people. We depend upon others. And so yesterday, one of the other things that I did was I visited with a high school teacher who has Parkinson's disease. A guy that, a gentleman I should say, 43 years ago in 9th grade taught me world history. Another mentor who I've known for 39 years, I made time to visit with them because those are the people that are important to me, not the big name people. It's the people who helped me along that way. So life is a journey. So today what I'd like to challenge you to do is think of your life as a journey. Think of your life as a pilgrimage. Webster's defines pilgrimage as the journey of a believer, a devotee, a traveler to a shrine or sacred place. But a second and secular definition defines the word as the course of life on earth. The two definitions are closely related. For the course of one's life on earth should help to develop within each of us a certain perfection, a certain humanness, a certain sacredness, if not in the religious sense, then in the secular sense of worthy of reverence or respect. Although we are each born with the autonomy to choose for ourselves the paths upon which we will tread, we are never alone. As I said before, we're not self-made individuals. It goes back to why did I go to that cemetery first? Why was that the first stop? Because these are the people that I depended upon, family, friends, colleagues, those who guide us, support us, strengthen us. As human beings, we all thirst for community and the company of others. We are, after all, social creatures. This is why the communities we choose, and by extension the individuals whom we befriend, are important. For they help to form us, help mold us, help to create the best you and me that we can be. They help us. They help us to answer at some point two age-old questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Few of you, perhaps none of you, would know the name of James Stockdale. Admiral James Stockdale was among those who uttered these precise words. Who am I? Why am I here? He did so at the beginning of a vice presidential debate in October of 1992. Commander Stockdale was a United States Navy Vice Admiral and aviator who earned the Medal of Honor in the Vietnam War. His jet was shot down in North Vietnam on September 9, 1965, and for the next 7.5 years, he served as a prisoner of war in the infamous Hanoi Hilton, where he was routinely tortured and denied medical attention. Stockdale was a candidate for Vice President of the United States in the 1992 presidential election on Ross Perot's independent ticket. And he was derided and made fun of because that's how he opened his debate performance against Al Gore and Dan Quayle. He opened it with those words, who am I? Why am I here? He was portrayed in the media as elderly and confused, and his reputation never recovered. In a 1999 interview, Stockdale explained that the statements were intended as an introduction of himself and his personal history. Well, then why do I, Jorge Ramirez, why do I open up with those lines? Who am I? Why am I here? Partly because of the irony that such an important and existential question became a point of derision for this man, Admiral James Stockdale. The word existential combines the two words existence and essence. And this etymology tells us what an existential question is. A question concerning the essence of what it means to be alive. What is my purpose for being here? One of my favorite books is The Pilgrimage by Brazilian Paulo Coelho. And it's my favorite because, among other things, it addresses this question of personal existentialism. At the beginning of the text, the protagonist of Coelho's novel fails a critical test by exhibiting the capital vice of pride, when he should have exhibited the virtue of humility. As a result, he must endure a personal journey along the Camino de Santiago, an ancient pilgrim's trail across the country of Spain. It is expected that the protagonist will learn the value of humility along the way. As he is about to embark on this journey, he describes it thus, quote, I was going to relive here in the latter part of the 20th century something of the great human adventure that brought Ulysses from Troy, that had been a part of Don Quixote's experience, that had led Dante and Orpheus into hell, and that had directed Columbus to the Americas, the adventure of traveling toward the unknown. The quote from Admiral Stockdale is not all that different. From the time of our birth until the time of our death, we are traveling towards the unknown. And throughout our journey, we continue to ask, who am I? Why am I here? In some sense, this quote is an important reminder that we will face obstacles throughout our life's journey, but we must not allow these obstacles to deter us from the search of self or vocation. But in some sense, you already know this. Each of you has had to overcome any number of obstacles on your journey, which today has led you to this place at this time with those of us in this room. Why are you here? What led you to this day? Each of us has a duty to enrich the lives of others that we meet along our journey, and likewise, each of us has a duty to be enriched by those we meet. That is what pilgrimage is all about. Improving ourselves along the journey, enriching our own sacredness. And that is my challenge to you as you think of life as pilgrimage. Like the protagonist in Coelho's novel, I too spent a summer in 1999 walking across the country of Spain, following the 1,000-year-old Camino de Santiago. It took me more than 30 days. 1999 was a time of uncertainty in my life, a time of insecurity, a time of darkness in my own life. I was 38. I share this with you as a sign of solidarity and shared humanness. You may be feeling this now, or you may in the future. Insecurity and feelings of darkness, those are not weaknesses, those are strengths. They help us to become better friends, better teachers, better human beings. As I walked the 525 miles across the country of Spain, from the French border to the Atlantic Ocean, I was struck by how much my pilgrimage was a microcosm of life. There were times when I was happy and my load was light. There were times when my body ached and I wondered if I would have the strength to finish the day. There were times when I walked with friends and was glad for community. There were times when I walked alone and thirsted for companionship. Finally, there were times when I was lost and wondered if I would ever find my way again. On my journey to Santiago de Compostela, I truly understood why Webster defined pilgrimage as the course of life on earth. Because on that pilgrimage, my journey to a sacred place, I experienced in some small way the many joys, wonders, and hardships that one faces on the journey of life. Coelho described it this way, quote, "When you travel, you experience in a very practical way the act of rebirth. You confront completely new situations. The day passes more slowly, and on most journeys you don't even understand the language that people are speaking. So you are like a child just out of the womb. You begin to attach much more importance to the things around you because your survival depends upon them. You begin to be more accessible to others because they may be able to help you in difficult situations. And you accept any small favor from the gods with great delight, as if it were an episode you would remember for the rest of your life. At the same time, since all things are new, you see only the beauty in them, and you feel happy to be alive. Like my journey across Spain and my journey of life on earth, you too will continue to meet with joys, wonders, and hardships. But events like this South Texas Ideas Festival, where you meet new friends, share new experiences, and learn new things, are meant to remind you that you need not face this journey alone, for there will always be a community of loved ones along your journey, a community that will celebrate in your joys, a community that will share in your wonders, and a community that will help you overcome the hardships you will face. Coelho teaches us that when you are moving toward an object or a goal in life, it is very important to pay attention to the road and not necessarily the destination. For it is the road that teaches us the best way to get there, and the road enriches us as we walk its length. And it is the same when you have an objective in life. It will turn out to be better or worse depending upon the route you choose and how you negotiate that route. The road Coelho speaks of includes those we meet along the way, those we meet along our journey, those of us in this room, those of us at this university, those of us in this community. When I say you've got to pay attention to the road, you pay attention to those people you meet as well along the road. Here's what I mean in a very practical sense. In my own journey of the Camino de Santiago, the very last two etapas, the last two segments of the journey, it was 60 miles, and I did it in two 30-mile slots. It took me 12 hours to walk 30 miles. And on one of those 30-mile slots, someone told me, when you get to a certain village in Gallego, when you get to a certain village, ask for a man named Don Diego, and Don Diego will help you find a place to rest for the evening. So as I started approaching that small village, and it was a village, it was a small village, a farming village. There were nothing but cows and pigs and a few farmhouses, and as I started walking along the way, I said, "Ustedes saben dónde puedo encontrar Don Diego? ¿Quién es Don Diego? Don Diego?" Continue walking, continue. You'll come to his place. I finally got to a place where I said, "Ustedes saben dónde vive Don Diego?" And this man, must have been 85, 90 years old, came rushing out of the house and said, "Yo lo estaba esperando! Yo soy Don Diego!" And I was like, he has no idea who I am. How could he possibly be waiting for me? He said he was waiting for me. He said, "I've been expecting you." He had no idea who I was. I didn't leave a message. They didn't say who I was going to be. They didn't say what time I was going to arrive. And he helped me to find a place to rest. But the reason why I tell you this is I didn't know who Don Diego was. And he certainly didn't know who I was. But he was there to help me. So I tell you this to remember that you and I need to be Don Diegos to others. That you will have Don Diegos in your life that you have to listen to from time to time, because they're going to help you on your journey. They're going to get you where you need to be. And the other message about this journey that I learned is you always have to remember to slow down. That last journey of 30 miles took me 12 hours. And after those 12 hours, I got on a bus, and for the first time in 30 days, I rode on a bus. And those 30 miles that took me 12 hours to walk, those 30 miles went by that window in 30 minutes. So 12 hours, imagine going by that window, everything is rushing past me. And it reminded me that's how we live our life today. Everything is at full speed. You're always on the internet. I see some people checking their Facebook or, we're on the internet, we're on social media. Slow down. So where do you go from here? What path will you take? Where is your Santiago de Compostela? You may not know that today, and that's okay. Because in time, your destination will become clear. If you follow the truth that emanates from your heart and your soul, you will find your Santiago de Compostela. It may not be easy, and it may take time. But while searching, never forget that during the entire history of human existence, there will never be another person just like you. You are unique. You are one of a kind. You have unlimited potential. But most importantly, you have something special to contribute to this world. For this reason, you are already sacred. And for this reason, you must always respect yourself and respect others. Honor yourself and honor others. Follow your dreams. Listen to your heart. And you will be led to your Santiago de Compostela. And education will continue to be a part of that journey. The process of education is never ending, whether it's formal or informal. And you will continue to learn until you take your last breath. As you transition from high school to college, from college to graduate school, or from college to work, or from high school to work, right? You will experience different pressures and be confronted with different ethical dilemmas. When that happens, always believe in yourself and do not let others steer you from the path of high standards that you have set for yourself along this pilgrimage called life. As you have experienced in the past, obstacles will continue to block your journey, but meet them with the confidence and knowledge that you will overcome those obstacles and be better for it. And just as you've already done, to get to this place in this time, you will succeed. And always remember that you can do whatever you set your mind to do, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and when you do, learn from them. These are the lessons that I believe will lead to true success and joy in life, and perhaps answer the ultimate questions. Who am I? Why not?